Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 47. I'm Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky. Hello.
Hello there.
And moving right on into it, we have Randy Stern back once again.
Hello, everybody.
Again.
Thanks for coming back, sir.
Great to be back.
We love
Yes,
return
you're
guests
always welcome.
because we don't actually like going through the list of like the standard questions. I mean, we need to set the the mood.
Yeah. We will eventually have Hep from Pristine Detail on, but he keeps getting pushed back because I schedule him at the worst time.
Yep. Wasn't it the Chariot of the Gods overlap?
I scheduled him during Chariots of the Gods.
And then I couldn't push, so we
then
just had to cancel.
Then I scheduled him when I was out of town at Car Week. The poor guy. He's really interesting. He's really cool. I want to have him on super
For sure.
badly.
I'm looking forward to the winter when I actually have like some time off where I can actually go talk to a lot of these people.
We're gonna have
I want to get.
We're gonna have a lot of these people on at the worst time of the year.
That's fine. That's when most people are inside listening to this crap anyway.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Like, I still want to get Tyler and Molly from the Cannonball and the Cannonfall stuff on.
Okay.
I really wanted to do that before the run this year, but we see how that worked.
So, also, I wanted to note, because we never spend any time actually talking about this, we do have a Patreon.
Yes,
and
we do.
If you have a question for us, you can subscribe to us for
a question for us to answer cover. Yeah.
Yes, or just a question for us.
That's true. We will answer that privately if you say so as such.
It's true. Yeah, you can join Patreon. I believe it's, how much is it per month to have a question?
For the question, I believe it's the $5 a month level.
The $5 a month?
If you contribute anything, it just helps us buy like show beer, basically.
Yes, and we will
We
give
do
you a
not make
shout-out.
anything on the show. So if you do that, that would be super nice. You certainly don't have to. We'll keep doing it either way. But the links for the Patreon are, as always, in the description on the podcast, on SoundCloud, iTunes, and on YouTube.
And on the blog.
On the blog as well.
When I do those occasional updates where I just
and we will get to Twitch at some point too.
I do like 17 updates in like one night every 6 months. So
yeah, it kind of throws me for a loop, but it's all good.
That's like I did with the Japanese nostalgia car Boogaloo episode.
I do like the word Boogaloo.
It's a great word, Boogaloo.
Especially if it's preceded by electric.
Yeah, electric Boogaloo.
The electric Boogaloo is just like, all right.
Our second episode with Ben will have it be Japanese nostalgia car 2 electric Boogaloo.
I'm fine with that.
That would be fantastic.
We'll just have to work in a couple of I'll put the EVSE topic in there too.
We'll talk about the Tama electric car, the first electric car from Japan.
I guess
anyway,
that would be acceptable.
Randy, what are you driving?
Oh, what I'm driving is a 2018 Hyundai Kona SEL with only front-wheel drive. I know.
Moving on.
Is that a 1.6?
It's a 2-liter.
Ooh, turbo or naturally aspirated?
Unfortunately, naturally aspirated. Now, the reason why I'm saying unfortunately because I drove the
aspirated?
This sounds, you're really not doing a good job selling this car, dude.
No, I'm not.
Well, actually, it's not you. You didn't design it. It's Hyundai. You're just the guy who has to.
It's a CUV.
Yeah, you just have to say the words.
It's a small
we don't like
CUV. It's a very small CUV.
Do you know what it also has?
A Marzen across the street from it because I'm about to drink this.
That too, but I was gonna say it has like the the Pontiac Aztec, Honda Element, Toyota FJ Cruiser, and non-body colored bumpers to save on insurance cost.
Exactly.
I thought we were done with that.
Unfortunately, Hyundai said, "Oh, look, an Aztec," and just drafted it onto a small SUV. But no. But on the flip side,
that's the first Summit I've ever had that I didn't immediately.
Oh yeah, we are
hate.
drinking Summit Oktoberfest, by the way.
We are drinking Summit Oktoberfest. I usually detest everything that they make. This one's okay.
Randy, just push through.
Well, you forgot to talk about the beer, so I let you have the time to talk about the beer.
We're trying to get right into it.
Beer first.
You're supposed to talk about the beer. That's the first thing you do.
It's even on the notes.
Exactly.
The notes are more like a vague guide.
See, everyone, they're on the notes. Beer.
That's right. So anyway, back to the Kona briefly, and I want to get into the reason why I'm here. No, the Kona, it's really a really good car for its segment.
CUV for its segment.
Small CUV, very, very small CUV.
What are its competitors?
Well, I guess more importantly, what is it based off of?
It's actually its own new platform.
Oh, so you can't even get coilovers for it?
Don't you wish?
Like, I saw one, and I was putting together, I think now, Stillborn article that I was going to do saying, like, 5 equally as ugly crossovers that can replace the Nissan Juke.
Yep.
And the Honey Kona I initially put on there, but I was looking at it, I kind of like the way it looks. I just don't like the fact it's a CUV, and if I could lower it and make it into not a CUV, I'd be a lot more into it.
I would agree with you on that one because it would look a lot better as a replacement for the Accent.
Or
And the
I think-
Accent has gone just so boring. It looks like an Elantra.
Well, no, it's a Hyundai. Of course it's going to go that way.
Yeah, because that's called design continuity.
Well, no, you can have design continuity and not be boring. It's more of Hyundai. They build their cars as a widget. They're the equivalent. They're a Korean equivalent of a Zaibatsu, like Mitsubishi.
Correct. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah, it's just one of many things that they make. It's just a widget.
It's a random, ununique, interchangeable good.
I will say this is the second one I've driven. The first one I drove in Detroit back in June, and it was for a day. But we were doing a media event there, and I had the 1.6 turbo ultimate all-wheel drive. This one's kind of the flip side, so it's like the second up from base. You know what? It's utilitarian, but when you look at that, that means it's a value. So I look at it from a value standpoint. As far as, it's a spunky little engine of 147 horsepower. It's only got front-wheel drive.
I think that would probably help it be spunkier.
What does it have for a transmission?
It's a real 6-speed automatic, and I mean by real because the other the 1.6 turbo.
I was hoping it wasn't the
speed.
dual clutch.
Nope, that's what you get when you get the 1.6 turbo.
Is there a manual option?
Unfortunately, no.
I have zero interest in this vehicle.
Yeah,
Then-
it's a terrible vehicle.
Shall we-
It's the thing where this is a vehicle. I think the Kona is very close to Hyundai being able to make something cool.
Yes.
And I think what they should, or what I would have probably pushed for if I was working with them, would be manual for sure, 100% manual
Absolutely.
option. And if I worked in the engineering department, I would find a way to parts and engineer it to use like Elantra suspension or something.
I would agree.
So
with
I
that.
could then have a customer I can lower it.
In particular, the Elantra
Yes, but the Elantra
Sport.
drives like ass.
It does, but they got coilovers for them.
Well, actually, though,
It's
if you
getting
drive,
better.
Well,
It's getting better, but if you drive the Elantra Sport or the Elantra GT Sport with the 2-liter
I haven't
turbo.
driven that. All I know is in the base trim, they did not figure out anything as far as shock tuning.
So that's a big difference.
well, again, it's a widget. It's nobody cares
I know.
about that. It's for grandma to go get her
I'm
groceries.
just saying. But other interchangeable widgets from other companies drive much better because of that.
You know, Road and Track had an article on Friday about cars that sell really well but damage their brand. I feel like Hyundai.
Porsche Cayenne.
Yeah, well,
Shots fired.
their big name drop was the front wheel drive GM luxury cars of the 1980s, or like the Chevy Citations and the
Yep.
Ford, the second generation Ford Explorer.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, those ones. And I feel like Hyundai, every car they release is dangerously close to that. Like they
But
are,
they don't have
they're
brand
one mechanical recall away from having something like that totally damage your brand. Because they don't have brand loyalty, but that's the thing. They're just making consistently good enough cars. And if they make one that's not good enough, that's going to set them back and make them look more like Daewoo, like they used to be compared to.
Yeah, but the thing is, they got a lot of money floating around in that company between them, Genesis, and Kia.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of money floating around. They're not. The thing is
And that's the thing. If you think about it, the Citation, and that's what I was saying, these are cars that sold super well. The
Oh, yeah.
Citation's one, a very good example of that, where GM, when they made that, had a lot of money floating around.
Right.
But that's one of those things where that was, 1 million customers, 811,000 per year for however long they made it, that bought that car and then decided to buy an Accord.
But Hyundai
Exactly.
Kia are in the position that Lexus was in when they came to market still. They can't afford to make those mistakes, so they're engineering around them.
And that's kind of what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like you would make one engineering mistake, or you cut one corner because we know that manufacturers cut corners. You cut one corner, the wrong one, and then you end up in a shitstorm.
Right, and they will start doing that at some point, but I don't
Yeah.
think they're in danger of doing
I
it
don't.
right
I don't
now.
think that they can. I don't think they'd be able to weather it like Volkswagen would.
But let
Maybe
me backtrack a little bit, and I'll tell you. We want to go back to 1986 when they first came to the United States with the then new XL, which
A good car that I actually like.
a really good
He also
car,
likes
but
1986.
yeah, but it was 1986. But then again, everybody came back and said the quality was terrible. There was no power to it, and you paid at least $5,000 new for a Hyundai, for a brand new Hyundai Excel. And again, it was like everything was exposed, and even Hyundai themselves admitted, look, we pushed this to market. It wasn't our best product. It wasn't our best. And it took them about maybe 13 years to finally figure out, hey, for a global market, we need to make a better product. So they started the 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, thinking, hey, we're making better cars. Let's back that thing. So they gotten better on some levels, but you're right. There are some things where it is widgety, utilitarian.
Well, there's nothing wrong with utilitarian. Don't get me wrong there.
I
But
agree.
it's the widgety, and I think it's, in the words of Jason Torchinsky, meh.
Yeah.
It's
They sold themselves as the value proposition brand.
Yeah.
And now
Correct.
that their product is competitive and they don't need that 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty to compete, they need to shed that. And
Yes.
it's very tough for them to do.
No, they're not going to give that up. I can tell you that right now.
No, they're not giving that up.
No.
But
I think that they're going to probably look at what Volkswagen, Honda, Toyota Nissan had to go through when they brought their luxury markets to brand, and the Volkswagen syndrome, where cars like the Phaeton don't sell as well, regardless of the fact that they're literally the exact same thing as an A8.
they're not, though.
Or the Volkswagen Quantum not selling because that was based off the Audi 5000 platform, if I'm not mistaken.
It's
I think
it's actually a Mark II Passat.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
The Mark II Passat, the Quantum. The Quantum was just the wagon.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Those are interesting vehicles.
Very interesting.
So that's
Yeah, the A8 was, even that generation A8 was still, one of them was aluminum, one of them was steel.
yeah.
But other than that, they were very mechanically similar.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think it might have been the Phaeton that was aluminum.
I don't remember. One of them
No,
was.
Audi
No,
was.
I thought the
was it
A8 was the
Because I
aluminum.
feel like the Phaeton they put in more ridiculous stuff
Yeah,
because
they
that
went over
was
the-
the
they
pet
went over
project.
the top on the Phaeton. They
Oh,
really
it was
did.
a pet project of the CEO.
Yep.
Right.
Skunk Works.
Anyway, so yeah, Hyundai. I feel like they're doing well now. I feel like I don't want them to fail because I
You
will
need 'em.
say I'll name 5 Hyundais that I really 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 like actually would go out of my way to buy, and I'll do it right now. The second generation Sonata, the one from
They
the early
don't sell
90s.
that anymore.
The first generation Tiburon.
They
which
also don't sell that
anymore. That N30 or whatever, that hot hatch they have in
i30N,
Europe.
which they don't
The
sell
i30
here.
The i30N, that one.
It's called the Elantra GT.
No, it's not
Very
the same
different
thing.
vehicle.
It looks very different.
Yes,
It's-
it is.
No, it's different weight. It's different wheelbase.
Different powertrain.
Different powertrain. It's totally different.
Okay. Anyway,
No, it literally is.
I'm not
It's
arguing
the same
with you
car.
guys. I'm just telling you what
It
it
has
is.
a different engine in it. Like, can you look up the engine codes?
I'm going.
Thank you.
Well, they put engines for the American market because the European market, the global market won't fit for our market. So blah. Well, that's a terrible
That's
thing to say.
again a different car.
Yeah, different powertrain.
That's totally different. That's like saying the JZX or the okay, 1 second. The third generation Supra with the 2.5 liter in Japan and the third generation Supra in the United States were the same car. Yeah, they made the same power, but the one in America had a 7M GTE in it, and the one in Japan had a 1JC. Totally different engines.
Right. And
One's
this is the
way more
N,
reliable.
which is the more powerful version, of course, which is
Right, but it's
It's-
not just the powertrain. I mean,
It's the whole
suspension
car.
tuning. Like this has the big 4-piston Brembo brakes on it. It's got
No,
better
no, no.
seats, better interior.
Yeah, it's
Here's the
entirely.
thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We're not getting that one. We're actually getting the first N that's coming for Hyundai is the
Right.
Veloster.
What we're illustrating is
Which-
that the Elantra GT is not the i30N.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we're trying to say.
No, but there are base i30s that are exactly that.
The
one.
platform is the same, yes. Very different car.
But anyway, to round out my list,
Yeah.
the Genesis Coupe I actually was a fan of. I liked the way those drove.
Oh yeah.
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 When those came out, I'm like, wow, that's a Hyundai?
And
2-liter turbo, good looks, rear-wheel drive, manual.
the original Hyundai Pony from the late 1970s.
The ones we didn't get.
Which we didn't get.
Also was designed by Giorgetto Giugiaro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I can't believe when they got them in '83 in Canada, it was like, hey, what are we missing? Sure enough, the XL showed up.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that's the story.
Hyundai.
That's the story of Hyundai. Is they'll have a cool product, we'll get something else like it,
I just want to
but
end
not
this.
the same thing.
I'll just end this Hyundai business by saying, I know there's going to be some other products I'll be looking at in the next 6-12 months. One of them I'm really looking forward to is the new Genesis G70, which is
That's the one where they're taking aim with the S-Class, right?
No, that's the G90.
The G90, okay.
The G70 is more towards 3 Series, C-Class.
That's the potential to be a good
A4.
car.
Some of my colleagues have driven it already, and they're like, wow, this is good. Now, they didn't say
Is it rear-wheel drive?
yes.
That
is good.
That is the most important thing.
manual available with the 2-liter turbo.
That's
no
very
shit.
cool.
All right. See, that is something that can make Hyundai actually have a following.
Yeah.
Like a
Genesis.
legit following.
Not how.
Not just
Yeah,
well,
they're
still,
really trying to step away from Hyundai with the Genesis.
again.
brand.
They
There,
sure
it,
have,
yeah,
yeah.
I guess that is.
But they probably shouldn't start it with a
that
name
is-
that was a Hyundai model.
That's true.
for like 10
They're
years.
like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of getting themselves into the Volkswagen syndrome.
We
Yeah.
call this a lateral.
So,
Yeah, there's a lot of those here.
Speaking of cars that are from countries that you don't necessarily associate with really good cars, apparently India has a new supercar.
They do.
Top Gear Magazine reviewed it, and I'm not gonna lie, I've not had a chance, and nor will I ever have a chance to review this because this is in India, and there's no way they're gonna fly me out. If they want to fly me out, I will absolutely go and look at this car. But
It looks like a Zenvo.
it does. It's a DC. Called a DC Avanti. It's
Actually, let me
designed-
pull up a picture of a Zenvo while you're talking.
It's designed for the Indian market. So it's got ride height that's apparently like 30 centimeters lower than a Range Rover Velar. And I think it's like within 30 centimeters of the height of a Bugatti Chiron, which makes the car have a really weird look and kind of get some like fish-like proportions. But yeah, that does look like a Zenvo. You are right. It looks like a Zenvo. Yeah.
So there's the Bombay bad boy,
The DC
the
Avanti.
DC Avanti, whatever. There's a Zenvo ST1. I think they might be using some leftover bodies or something.
But the so the car, it's got the engine out of a Renault Megane RS. So it's
It's a pretty good engine.
4-cylinder turbo.
Yep. I think those are
It's
2-liter turbos.
yeah, 2-liter turbo, manual transmission,
Nice.
rear-wheel drive, mid-engine.
Is it transverse or longitudinal? I suppose it probably
It's
is the
transverse.
Megane
It is
transversal.
transverse.
I gotcha.
So it kind of looks like a little fish-like and everything, but
The back is almost like that. What's that Chinese car? It looks like a sea bass on the front.
oh no, it's
Blanking.
Japanese. It's a Mitsuoka
Yeah,
Arishi.
yeah. Sorry, the back looks like a Mitsuoka, whatever the hell.
Mitsuoka Arishi.
Yeah.
Um,
God.
Yeah, that the things that I know.
Yeah.
So they were saying that this car, it's probably, if you're calling it a supercar, it's probably worth saying supercar. It's got the rear end kicks out. Its oversteer is uncontrollable. It's got really soft suspension. Like nothing's quite that good. But the thing is, in India, driving it in context, it makes sense
Yeah.
because they'll plow through their like 6-inch wide or their 6-meter wide, like 1 foot deep potholes. Like Indian roads are terrible.
I was gonna say there is a photo of it on an Indian road, and you can
Yeah.
see the ground clearance that's on this thing.
So actually, that's kind of cool to see it do that, and I feel like I really want to see DC Avanti enter this into some sort of like rallying,
Yeah.
because that would actually give it a racing
It
pedigree.
looks like it's on some sort of special stage. Yeah.
yeah, it looks really cool. Like,
It actually
I
looks like
that.
a ton of fun because of the suspension travel.
Yeah, it looks really rad. But they were saying that this car is actually, it's terrible in every measurement.
Oh, okay.
But
There's them again.
don't let that keep you from buying one because that car is fantastic. Apparently,
Is the engine in the front?
no, it's in the rear.
Okay.
But they're like the interior's chintzy, everything's chintzy, everything fits the nearest inch. But it's from India.
Do you know how much it costs?
Like $40,000?
Okay.
Like it does not cost much money. Like it's within the price range like a STI, a Civic Type R, a Golf R. And you know what? If I had that as an option in America,
Yeah,
I would,
I would
buy
take
that.
this
I
for
would
sure.
100% take that over anything we have in America.
It looks like
in
it's
that
got a
price range.
20-year-old tractor coolant reservoir in it, and
It
like
doesn't
a
have
bunch
it,
of
it
weird.
does not have an airbag.
Good. So
Yeah.
we probably won't.
Look
get
at that.
it
The
here.
interior looks like it's from a Hyundai Tiburon.
It
But-
does. Like a first gen one. That's
Like,
had a
yeah,
little bit of coach
like a
work
first
done.
gen Hyundai Tiburon. It looks
Or like an E36 M3 with the extended leather package.
Yes.
There you go.
it's not the best looking interior, but you know what? It's a really cool car. I'm a big fan of that, and I think the DC Avanti. It's got such an awkward shifter. I'm gonna put that up there with one of my favorite cars. That
looks
are
like
currently in production.
That was okay. What that shifter is? It is an early Tremec T56 C4.
It's
shifter.
actually a Renault Megane shifter.
I know, but like it looks for the people that aren't watching the video version. Which where
yeah.
are you?
Yeah.
It looks just
it
like that
looks like
early
that.
Tremec
Yeah, it's-
C4 shifter.
It's not the prettiest interior.
No.
I mean, none of this is that pretty, but you know how much of a fan I am of the AW11 MR2.
Yes.
This is a modern AW11 MR2.
Kinda.
It is
You know, I'm gonna leave it on the photo of this old confused Indian man.
that is a
That
good
is a
example.
perfect. That's a perfect look.
But they said another thing in the article. They were talking about Indian drivers and how they were stereotypically the worst drivers in the world.
Yeah.
And you know, if you've never seen what an Indian road looks like, it's people, cows, and bicyclists and tuk-tuks, semi-trucks, and everything having complete utter faith in that there is a God that has a predetermined destiny for them. And so they just lay on the horn and just go through the intersection.
I'm an Akbar.
Yeah, basically. But yeah, there's not that many Muslim people in India. But
Yeah, that's a joke.
yes. What they said was these are actually probably some of the best drivers in the world because they get through that and they get to work.
Yeah.
Like you hear about people that drive down 494 and don't make it to work.
Yeah.
In India, you have to drive through a literal maelstrom and then you get to work. And then you have to drive through that maelstrom back and you have to do it 365 days a year. So, yeah, they were saying they're basically the best drivers in the world to be able to do that every day and not die.
Sure.
So-
No, yeah, that's a lot of qualifiers, but yes, it's true.
Yeah, no, but they were. Top Gear said that it was a very good car for the money, and it's a great first supercar from India, and you know they're looking forward
It's
to
a
it.
lot better than a Tata Nano by the looks of it.
I'm just excited that exists because
yeah.
I wish that was not built just for domestic production. I wish that I could get that
What would you call that? IDM?
Indian domestic market.
Yep.
Yes, I'd be about that.
We need more DMs.
Yeah, we do need more DMs that are unique.
Or
Yeah, that's,
DMs,
not
yeah.
DMs. Yeah, domestic markets.
Yep.
Yeah, you need more domestic markets that are unique.
Wow, that's quite a slip.
Yeah,
But I
that's
mean,
it.
they're once one of those things gets crashed and totaled, you could just ship it over here and rebuild it with IDM parts.
It's true. I mean, you probably can, and there's no trade tariff on it because it's not made in China at all. It's literally
my
made
God.
entirely in India.
and it's not a luxury car, so
No,
Trump
it's
won't try
not.
to tax you a tariff on it or whatever.
And yeah, if you get that as a show or display only title from Brian from International Vehicle Importers,
Come on,
actually,
Top Rank. We want one
you
of
know
these.
what? I could probably see if they could just do that because that is an important car. That's the first supercar
That
ever
is
from India.
a significant vehicle.
That is
But
a
I mean,
very
it takes-
significant vehicle.
It takes
And
a very significant amount of paperwork to prove that, but
But I would love to have that, and I also really want if DC Avanti, if for some reason you found our podcast, absolutely take that out rallying because
Yes.
that would be so badass. That
dress
would-
it up like one of the 70s Rally 911s and just go
What,
for
what
it.
was that? The mid-engine Lancia that had like a Delta front end, but it looked like
037.
the 037. It reminds me of a modern 037. It's somewhere between an MR2 and an 037.
Yeah, that thing with narrow tires, like old OZ Racing rally wheels,
Yeah.
mud flaps, a bunch of lights on the front.
It'd be really awesome.
Yeah, I
that'd
would-
be a dope rally car.
Actually, I'm fully on board with this.
Yeah.
You know what, DC Avanti, if you want to fly us out to campaign one of those in a rally, we will totally
We will,
do that for
or
you.
if you want us to campaign one of those with the Polar Run, we will do that for you. You just
But
need
you have to
fly
register it and make
us.
it legal here.
Yes, you need to fly it to us
Yep.
and federalize
And
it.
then leave it here for
Don't
us.
forget the winter tires.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
and
can
the
handle
winter
that.
tires.
I'll buy winter
We
tires.
do Pikes Peak with it. We can have a lot of fun with the
Yeah,
DC
we'll
Avanti.
campaign it all over the country.
Yeah, actually, I would not only campaign it. I'll probably daily drive it.
This is
in full
not
racing
Matt
kit.
Farah's Million Mile DC Avanti.
This is not. This is MotorCult's 20,000 mile beaten to a pulp DC Avanti.
Falling in half. Too many rallies. The interior is too lived in.
Apparently, the limits for 20-foot jumps in a DC Avanti is 35.
We have
At
the
that
jump
point-
counter enabled, yeah.
At that point, the car rips in half. But
and then, we'll have to part it out at that point, probably.
we
but-
will. Well,
Excuse
then, Jana really likes Renault, so
There you go.
Boom, she has got a Megane power plant.
to put in something.
You know what? You could get that service at a Nissan dealership.
Yes, you could.
Anyway, Randy,
Yes,
how do you feel
have
about
your
that
hand
car?
up.
Wow. I think you guys should get a DC Avanti to test drive and even to take it on the Polar Rally. The thing is, though, isn't it just rear-wheel drive?
Yes.
Yeah, it is.
Okay,
But,
done.
That's best wheel
well, no,
drive.
that's the thing is actually mid-engine rear-wheel drive cars had very good racing pedigrees.
Exactly. So you put it on the Polar Run, you swap out some winter tires, you're done. It's awesome. It would be great.
and I mean,
Yes.
if you think of like what everything Lancia did, the 037, the Stratos, Ferrari had. Didn't they make the 488 for Group B?
I don't know.
But yeah,
I don't really follow any racing stuff.
Ferrari had some
Renault 5
rally
Turbo
cars.
was a successful rear-wheel drive
Yeah,
engine car.
that one was. Oh yeah, it was rear-wheel drive. I was just say the Peugeot T16, but that one was all-wheel drive.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there was a lot of very successful rear-wheel drive mid-engined rally cars. It's a perfect setup for it.
There were even few that beat the early AWD cars.
That's true. Yeah, there was a period in time. Yeah.
The good thing about the DC Avanti is that, yes, we talked about how the quality is lacking, but then again,
By our standards.
by our standards, which of course, compared to say a Tata or a Mahindra,
Or even like a Jaguar Land Rover product.
All right, Hindustan Ambassador.
Ew,
Yeah.
shots
Ew,
fired.
Shots fired. That's right.
No, you do bring up a good point. Compared to what they have there, that the quality, there's a difference in quality.
Yeah.
But I think also that this is meant to be more of a driver's car.
Yeah.
Because if this is designed for
Right.
actual performance, it would be an inch off the ground, and it
I
would
bet
be
that's way better than
totally-
most modern supercars.
Yeah,
just
it would-
because it's a
That's a dr-
limited amount of power.
A driver's car, you don't care what it looks like. You just care about how it drives, and I bet that interior probably feels fucking awesome.
Yeah, the steering wheel looked comfortable and all that. So
Yeah.
very driver-centric controls. I would sit in that. I would hoon it for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has stability or traction control. I hope it's defeatable
I
if it
don't
does.
think it does.
Probably not
I
if it doesn't
don't
have an
even.
airbag.
I don't even think it has ABS.
Good. I like that.
Yeah.
Randy, you looked disgusted as I said
No,
that.
no, it wasn't. I'm like, no, I'm just thinking, I'm just flashing right now going, you two in a DC Avanti,
It would be great.
it would be awesome.
It would have the
but
most
I have
80s
to,
wrap on it,
But I have
though.
to look at it going, I need to
would.
step away for a few inches because these guys are coming through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, we
everyone's
will.
gonna be
We'll,
talking
we'll go
shit.
through the gates backward and
There-
possibly on fire.
Nice.
Actually, I mean,
Sounds like a 458 Ferrari.
one more thing
Shots
about the
fired.
Hindustan Ambassador. India already does have a history with rally and very successful rally
Yes.
drivers. Johinder Singh, which was called the Flying Sick.
Yeah, we are not that good. But if
He,
they want a MotorCult wrap on their rally car
Yes.
when they campaign the DC Avanti,
That'll be a thing.
let's do that.
But no, Johinder Singh was Datsun's rally driver for all their multi-country, like point-to-point rallies that
Sure.
they did.
Mhm.
And he kicked ass and took names. Any
As
like,
you said, you learn how to avoid vehicles with no headlights and taillights in the middle of a street with people
it's
working
kind
on
of
them
like
underneath.
Finland.
Yeah.
It's
It's
yeah.
just- it's completely different, but very,
No,
very effective.
it's the same concept. It's like Finland. Finland, everybody's a
Right.
very good rally driver because you have to be.
because they go to excellent, clean facilities and they have very diligent reports of how you did.
Well, not only
Whereas
that,
India-
I mean, I was thinking more that they get like 18 feet of snow every winter, and you have to drive. You still have to go to work, and then in
That's
India,
true.
you
And-
don't have 18 feet of snow. You just have cows.
And there are no
And a lot of
wheelers,
mud.
so they just drive a
you
lot.
you have cows, which are literally like as bad as running over a person.
Especially with, I mean, a lot of Indian vehicles, especially IDM. It's catching on.
And IDM
Don't have crumple zones or like safety glass or things like that too.
Well,
So,
they,
like, if you hit them,
I think the Tata has safety glass. 'Cause I'm pretty sure it's a hand-me-down part.
Yeah, that does.
So
Because
yeah,
it was
there's
an
that.
exported vehicle.
The Jaguar is another Indian vehicle, safety glass.
Well, Indian company anyway.
Well, it's an Indian vehicle. It's owned by Indians.
I like the Top Gear quote. Hello, industrious little fellows. I'm just like, wow, that is going to go over well. That's like the
Oh,
Falklands
boy.
War Plate on the 928.
And we're off the air in India.
Yeah, exactly.
Goodbye, industrious little fellows. Wow, I'm going to jackknife us back on the topic.
So-
This is fun, but
I do-
you
I-
finish
I-
up real quick.
I've got one more question for Randy. Randy, do you foresee any Indian companies like Tata or something like that eventually in like the next 20 years or so making their way to the United States
Or DC.
or DC for that matter? Yes.
Well, the only kick here is that why haven't they done so already? I think the problem is that they need to catch up on a lot of things. So you think with Tata using the assets of Jaguar and Land Rover Range Rover to be able to improve their product, I haven't seen anything that is worth coming. Now the thing is that
Except for the I-Pace.
Yes, the I-Pace it's still a Jaguar. I'm talking about the Tata brand.
Oh, okay.
I'm not talking, and Mahindra brand as well, because Mahindra also got SsangYong, which almost came to America.
Really?
Still threatening is coming to America.
Yeah, I'd be okay
and
with
they
SsangYong
haven't
coming
come to America.
They're absolutely atrocious looking. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
We need some ugly cars on the road.
But here's the thing.
I mean that in the kindest way possible.
What about a Hyundai Kona base?
Wow, you mean SCL?
Whatever.
Anyway, hey, listen.
Sorry. I'm still laughing at my own shitty joke, so.
Push through, Randy. You got this.
Yep.
No, we're done. I'm
right,
done.
You're done with it?
All right. So, in the interest of moving on, they total a lot of cars in India because there are cows on the road. I want to talk about salvage title vehicles.
Yeah, we total cars in America because
Yep. We also total cars because people eat too many hamburgers and they
Also a beef product.
crash on straight roads. I was actually driving down here this morning in the 500e. I was behind a 4th gen RAV4 V6. The guy went from the right lane to fully on the shoulder and back to the right lane
Those have a lot of power.
3 times.
Those
They
have
are
a lot of
very
power.
fast.
I don't blame him for doing that. It was a 4-cylinder
No,
RAV4.
very
that's a problem.
distracted is why. But
Actually,
like,
I will say the RAV4 V6 might
awesome vehicle.
that might be the only CUV I'm okay with.
Did you? Oh shit! Did you
'Cause that
see
is
the Matt
silly.
Farah one take when he was still doing those? He did a Rav4 V6 one take.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I did. I took one on a test drive with a customer before I knew they even existed, and I totally forgot it was a thing. Is this guy I used to go street racing with named Tony, who just like appeared in my shop, and I didn't recognize him at first. And
Yeah.
turns out I used to know him from street racing. And I'm like, so what went wrong with your life that you're looking at a RAV4? Literally said it like that. He goes, oh, dude, nothing went wrong. I'm having a family, and this is the most fun family car.
0 to 60 in 5.6 seconds.
Yeah,
30
he's
miles
like,
to the
he
gallon
shows
highway.
me the stats on it, and it's if you're looking for a fast car, it's faster than a Bug Eye WRX.
Yes.
It's a very fast car.
And you have to change the oil once eventually.
Well, you have to change the oil every 5,000 miles if you're a responsible adult. But
I understand, but I'm talking about the typical owner that the 2GR-FE was engineered around.
that's true. But no, yeah, and that's the other thing. Is it's got that Sienna 3.5 liter,
Yeah.
which is
Or it's better if you say Camry.
no, I want to say Sienna because that's the kind of car you think of when you see that engine most often. Is a vehicle that weighs about twice as much.
That's true. And the Sienna isn't fast because of it, but it's still a
The
really good
Sienna is a very good car. It's not fast, but it's really good. And this one is awesome. And it's got all-wheel drive, so it actually gets off the line.
I don't like
So-
all-wheel drive.
Yeah, but it's, I'm comparing this
Yeah,
to
it's
WRX.
fine.
But that's a pretty cool CV. Anyway, I'm sorry. I derailed this.
Salvage title cars. The main reason I want to talk about this is because back when I first started actually buying used cars, I started to come across a lot of good deals, on Craigslist and things like that. And I would see this salvage, prior salvage, or like certificate of destruction I would see a lot of times. And I'm like, okay, what does a salvage car actually mean? And I think that varies a lot from state to state, insurance company to insurance company. So it matters who writes it off, why. Because there are some states where if you sell a car with a bad head gasket or something, they put a salvage on the car.
That's true.
Because it's not operable. It doesn't pass an inspection.
Yep.
So, like, the MR2 Spider shell that I bought came up from Nebraska, and that had a thrown rod through the side of the block. Car had never been in any crashes, no flood, no issues at all, except for the fact the engine was completely horked. So I had to go through the Minnesota state salvage inspections, which I'll get into in a second. But I want to know, just asking first off, simply, have you guys ever owned a vehicle with a salvage or prior salvage or rebuilt? Have you ever driven one? And what do you think it mean, or what does it mean to you? Not what you think it means, but what does it mean to you?
I owned one.
Okay.
It was a parts car for one that was not, but I did
Okay,
drive it because
sure.
I drive my parts cars because I want
Me
to
too.
before I take the parts off of it, I want to make sure they're good.
Yeah, same. Tested.
That's the thing is salvage title. So we're really close to the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
That's one state I will never touch. If there's a car that's ever been in Illinois,
Yeah.
and if it's got any history being titled there, I'm very thorough with my
It's
inspections
the
of
Florida of the Midwest.
You have to have to salvage our car in Illinois. It has to be 75% of its vehicle value in damages, body damages, not mechanical.
Right.
So it's also you have something that's like a minor flood car that gets titled, and you can have stuff where 75% of the value. Let's say it is a well, I'm just to make it easy, a Mitsubishi Mirage, because that's $20,000 in top kit. A $20,000 car, you have to do $15,000 worth of damages.
But
in
let
body work.
Let me retort, I guess, real quick. A brand new car like a Mitsubishi Mirage, if you crash that thing, like let's say it's a 5-mile-an-hour impact to a trailer hitch on a pickup.
That's true.
Right front corner, you blow 5 airbags in that thing with 3 people in the car.
Yeah,
you're already at like 10 grand with new bags.
But I'm thinking, so when you're looking at cars that are older,
yeah.
So I'm just like a car costs $20,000, you can do $15,000 worth of damages on the vehicle. So say you have like the world's cleanest CB Accord or something,
which is probably going to book out for like $1,200. So if you do $700 worth of damage to it, which you will do immediately,
that's not a big problem. I guess that's a bad example. Third generation Supra, that's a 10 grand car.
I think
right?
on a brand new car, your argument is really valid.
Well, I'm more worried about older cars.
But those don't book for anything.
Well, no, not necessarily, because you get E30s. Those book for quite a bit.
No, they don't.
They don't? They don't book for more than because they're actually going up in value.
They go, I know, but they do Kelly Blue Book. They don't do NADA, and they don't take actual sales into account because nobody sells one on Auto Trader.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
like if I booked like Hari's convertible, that thing probably books for like $1,400.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Like my E30 M3 books for
I still, whenever I see a salvage title vehicle,
I agree.
I take that into account.
It concerns me. I mean, I didn't know that was a state law for Illinois.
And then
because insurance companies, when they total a car, it's their prerogative how much of a percentage value that they take to total it. Yeah. Some companies are as low as 40, some are as high as 90% of actual cash value for repair cost.
Yeah.
And if you get something that's like a 40%, and it's a used car, like that's nothing.
True.
That you broke 2 headlights.
But then you're stuck with trying to resell it.
Right, and that's a thing.
And I sell whenever I buy a car, I have the idea of potential of income like you do.
Exactly. Which is
that just
you would never want to buy a clean title, sell it as a salvage. I would say that.
Yeah, I would. No, I never do that. I will never ever buy a salvage title car.
But
because
would
I want
you
the return
just
income.
because you're looking at a used car, say everything is completely equal, mileage, year, options, everything. Say the car is $7 grand for a clean title one. What if the prior salvage car is $4,750? Would you take the leap and take that if you had a PPI?
Not really, no. Because it's trying to get out of that car is going to be a nightmare.
I don't think so.
No, it really is. Like if you try to sell it to somebody, that's going to add 8 trillion questions to him. If you take it to a dealership, that's going to be an immediate no-go or a $500 trade-in value. I've watched that happen.
Nobody would do that to a car like that, though.
No, I've seen that happen where I had somebody that bought a first car for their kid.
Yeah.
So it was I think it was something like some Mac car is actually like worth some money, like a GMC Envoy or something.
Sure.
And they tried to trade it in.
Okay.
The car was normally worth about $6,000 or $7,000, somewhere in that ballpark. But because it has salvage title, we wouldn't be able to put it on a lot.
Right.
So we were going to take
to wholesale it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wholesale it. We're going to take an L on it. We're gonna have a hard time moving it. We have 60
Ignore
days to
dealerships.
move this. Yeah, but
for the sake of the argument.
Yeah, but I mean, like, well, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like
people that buy prior salvage cars do not do anything at dealerships.
Well, no, a lot of these people do because it'll be a first car for their kid. They don't care.
Then they bought the car by accident.
Well, no, they bought it on purpose because it was just way cheaper. But it was one of those things where, like you did like 10 miles an hour or 5 miles an hour into the back of a city bus and blew out the steering wheel airbag.
Yeah,
and that was the salvage title. So things like that will destroy the value on a car
for a dealership trade-in. Yes.
Yeah, for a dealership trade-in. Now, let's say you're selling on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Well, now this guy's going to want to haggle with you even more. He's going to want to take all the money.
I don't think that stands to reason.
That totally does.
I sold gray Fiat last year.
Yeah.
I got more than book value for that car.
So, that's also on your gray Fiat, which was a very well cared for car.
Exactly, but a lot of cars that have that title marking were fixed properly.
And somebody that I will say is a very good salesperson.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I mean, still.
But to Joe Schmo for Randy?
Still, but like a lot of people
Randy's
out there,
having a hell of a time.
especially younger folks, they don't know what the fuck that means. Like, is it going to be an issue to title this and get plates for it and drive it? Like, no, hell no. That's been
No,
fixed
but
properly.
but then what they're going to do is they're going to take that car for a post-purchase inspection because people do that, which is
the
stupid.
people that bought my car took it to the Fiat dealership and had a PPI done, and they asked if it was a good car, and the dealer said, "Yeah, no problem."
But that's the thing is, you're gonna have that post-purchase inspection. If you get somebody that's less cool than the people you sold it to,
I understand, but they
you're-
took my
they're-
car to a main dealer and had an inspection.
All right, I understand that, and you had a really good experience. But believe it or not, there's a lot of douchebags in the world.
I understand, but I'm just saying, like, if a car is a prior salvage, it was fixed correctly, and it's taken for an inspection, there will
And
be
then they're
no
gonna
reason
find
to
some
walk away.
stupid thing like a tearing rear sway bar bushing, and you're gonna be on the hook.
Perfect.
They're gonna try and have you be on the hook for it. You're gonna have 800 phone calls a day.
That's why you do a
It's
bill
gonna
of sale.
Yeah,
you
but
want that for any car.
Yeah, but that's the thing is there's to be a whole nother crop of bullshit that you're gonna have to go
Ryan,
through.
yeah, I agree, but you're going to have that even if your car had a clean title for a post-purchase inspection.
You have a much higher likelihood with
I
a salvage
disagree.
title. Totally do.
I disagree.
Because then people have said, well, it's got a salvage title. Like
I'm
I've
like,
had the-
yeah, it was a front right collision, and that's a rear left sway bar end link.
Yeah, and that's the thing. But you're gonna have to sit there and have that conversation. I
maybe,
personally
maybe
don't
not.
have time for that.
I agree.
So,
I appreciate that you are
that-
being devil's advocate.
that
it's
brings
nice to
me-
have the
that-
extreme.
That brings me to saying, I wouldn't touch a salvage title.
Okay.
And
That answers my question.
the other reason is that most of the time to get top dollar,
Yeah.
like that shit's not gonna fly.
No,
in a
you
branch trailer.
don't do that to get top dollar. You buy that to have a nice car for a cheaper amount of money. And you agree that you're going to take a
I
much
think
lower
like
amount to sell
the
it to.
only time I'd ever really take a salvage title,
Yeah.
is if it's something that I'm like really, 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 really about, and it's to be a car I plan on keeping forever.
Right.
Like if it's like a E31 Skyline or not R31 Skyline.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's R31 Skyline RS Turbo,
Mm-hmm.
or sorry, no, it's not the RS Turbo. It'd be the GTSR.
Semantics.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was a R31 Nissan Skyline GTSR.
Yeah.
I would take that with a salvage title if it was perfect.
Right.
And
But I mean, okay, yeah, I
but
agree.
that's
A
because
salvage
that's something
title
I may keep forever.
on a special car that you're not intending to
Your
resell.
Ferrari
Yeah.
to you.
I would have bought
Something
that car with the prior salvage for
Yeah,
sure.
something like that would be worth it. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
That's fair.
but
Right.
if it's something that I plan on ever selling in my life, no,
Yeah.
not dealing with that.
Okay. That's fair. Randy, how about you?
I do my best to get away from any salvage title car because I know what the legal ramifications are.
What are they?
Well, number one, like you said, dealers are not supposed to sell those
Right.
as practice.
Okay, I'm going to add qualifiers to this. Ignore all dealership facets.
Well, no, because
Just
that's,
you personally,
that's a
what does a
large
salvage title mean to you?
What salvage title means to me is that somebody damaged this damn thing
Yep.
and decided to rebuild it,
Yep.
resell it,
Yep.
and it's going to be a bitch for me to try to get it titled, licensed, etc. Go through the legal ramifications.
The only
on it.
issue is resale, as far as title and registration
That's
and insurance.
exactly what I was leading to.
No,
is,
I-
actually, no.
that's
You
fine.
do have state to state. So in Minnesota, we are pretty lenient for getting stuff titled here.
Right.
yes, we
But there are other states where you do have safety inspections, which a salvage
Yep.
title from. So if you try to get a salvage title in Illinois registered in say California, then
Yeah.
you're gonna have the worst time of your life.
Exactly. But if it was salvaged in California and brought up here, it's like,
No.
whoa, really no problem.
But again, that's another thing with the salvage title
Yep.
is
No,
there's
it's stuff to
there's
think
so
about.
many caveats. It turns a relatively simple process of running
Right.
across no man's land to buy a
Right.
car into running across no man's land to buy
But
a car.
MotorCult, we pride
But-
ourselves on being a local podcast.
But it's also it's also a minefield.
It isn't, though.
Well, no, I mean if you're depending with all the caveats.
I've done this like 30 times.
No, I get that. I understand that, but I'm saying if you look at all the caveats for everybody else's situation, you've worked out your exact situation.
I
You have
understand.
it down.
But the people we're talking to on the show are probably in Minnesota. They're probably people that don't, they'll look on Craigslist for a car. They're probably trying to buy above their, punching above their weight money-wise. So, like, I
again,
do
that's-
appreciate that both of you guys are bringing up these things because they are totally valid.
That's another.
You
That's
can't bring it to a
that is
dealership.
another thing.
If you have safety inspections, holy shit.
Yeah.
especially if you're in Virginia, D.C., Maryland,
But that's
Connecticut,
assuming that
New
the car
Jersey,
hasn't
New
been
York,
fixed
Pennsylvania.
Well, no, even then, like there are things where you're gonna have to get the service records in some cases. If you get that service record of the repair, if that shop went out of business, then you're fucked.
Yes, if you want to circumvent the visual inspection from the state-sponsored facility.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. And I guess another thing is the state of Florida.
Don't ever buy a car from the state of Florida. Just saying that to everyone.
Don't buy one with a clean title from Florida, because Florida.
That's a red flag.
Florida's one of the states where. So normally, if you have a car that's got a salvage title,
you could title a toaster in Florida.
If you have a car with a salvage title, in most states, and you rebuild it, it becomes a rebuilt title, or it stays salvage.
Yep. Or
Florida, on the other hand, they will allow you to do a clean title if you do everything like we've said.
That's correct.
And their inspections aren't that great.
Their inspections are terrible. And again, you can title a toaster.
Yeah.
They will if you have a VIN that's like reasonable.
If it pulls up as something.
If it pulls up as something, you can get a VIN off a Nissan Altima, and you can slap that onto
the Skylines.
Yeah, literally, you can slap it onto a Skyline.
That's where all those seized cars came through.
And then
Florida.
And then you can be really good and have your car taken care of, and then have it get crushed in like 10 years when you get pulled over for running a stop sign.
Calculated risk. Yeah, exactly.
So stay away from Florida.
Yeah, do not buy a car from Florida is the main takeaway from salvage titles.
Well, there's one where a guy, there's a story I was reading on a Nissan forum. I was doing some research on the Nissan Tsuru, which is the Mexican continuation version of the early 90s Sentra.
Yep.
And this guy bought...
I only know what that is because of you.
Thank you. This guy bought a really clean Nissan Sentra sedan.
Okay.
And he got pulled over. Kind of the same thing. He ran a yellow light turned red when he was about to cross the intersection. He got pulled over for it. Dick cop. Turns out his title was only registered to the VIN on the dashboard.
Oh.
But the cop, being a dick, popped the hood to do some emissions inspection bullshit because he's from out of town and he was in a state where it was like that. The VIN on the chassis was different.
Aha.
The cop noticed that. Turns out the car was from Mexico. It was a 1999 Nissan Tsuru instead of the 1991 Nissan Sentra XE.
Sure.
It was badged and titled as. And the his car got seized.
Of course.
And it almost got crushed. He eventually had to go through a whole load of bullshit. Luckily, he got super lucky that car was not reported as stolen in Mexico. Bought the car from the original owner in Mexico, so he had to buy it a second time to get the title sent to America from Mexico. Had to get a show display only title. Then
how was that worth? That must have been the cleanest car ever.
He apparently did like a bunch of work on it. He had like an SR20 swap and everything. It was like a really, really nice Sentra.
Show or display. I mean, when we talked to Brian, that is not easy.
He did all this on his own with just consulting a lawyer.
Yeah.
It was 3 years of bullshit for running a red light. And the thing is the car had been titled. He bought it from Florida. He bought it when he was on vacation in Florida. He goes, "This is a really, really dope Nissan Sentra. Yep. It's got a manual transmission. It's everything I want. It's got some minor modifications to it, which I like."
Yep.
And that's the thing is he ended up getting burnt from buying a car with a clean title in Florida. So
I think what this topic is turning into is the power of the pre-purchase inspection is huge, and never ever don't do one.
But Randy, is there a car that you like enough that you would get a
roll the dice?
That you would actually roll the dice?
Assuming you're getting a PBI and all that kind of stuff.
None. Okay. Nothing.
Now like a DeLorean or something?
Not even a DeLorean.
Even if it's a quarter of the price.
I can't fit in a DeLorean. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know what kind of car you're super passionate about.
Okay, well.
I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything.
Yeah, I think, a Countach, of course, but it's still going to be ridiculous regardless.
No, I think on a supercar, as long as it's like...
Any supercar I'm okay with, as long as
it wasn't a flood.
If you can find out why it was salvaged.
That's the thing.
I think that's the rule here, is find out why it was salvaged.
And that's a big one for me, is like when I buy a car that's crashed and rebuild it, I only have a couple that I've done that with, but I have diligent photo records that go with the car.
Yeah.
And I show them to the owners, and they're like, "That's it?" I'm like, "That's it. That's why it's got this
if it was salvaged because of a flood, stay away from it.
Yeah, especially a modern car, especially a car that's got the modules on the floor.
Audis in the last 6 months at work that we've had total write-offs on because of flood damage. One guy,
that Houston flood a couple of years ago, the stuff is still kind of working around.
Yeah, they are.
Florida.
Yep. And now we got the hurricane in North Carolina, and then any hurricane that's ever gone through Florida.
All of them.
Yeah, literally all of them. Or you're just daily flooding in Miami. which is a real
They
thing.
have, like specific California emissions models. They should have like specifically built Florida flood models where all the crucial modules are in the headliner.
Yeah, they should. They really should actually.
Exactly.
One of these cars he wrote off is now a salvage title. Is the guy, his sunroof clogged, the sunroof drained,
Yeah. Yep.
and it filled the driver's side floorboard with water,
Yep.
corroded out the
Module underneath the carpet?
Yeah, the module underneath the
Body
carpet.
control module or
Body
whatever.
control module. He can't get into his trunk. None of his windows roll down. Doesn't have anything that works. So, he's like, well, how much will it be at the fix? I'm like, well, it's the 2002. Sorry, it wasn't it was an Audi. It was a Jetta or a Passat rather. He goes, well, it's
Scrap it.
it's a 2002 Volkswagen Passat. It's about $15,000 worth of work. And you're like, what? And I'm like, we have to remove literally every piece of the interior and replace every single wire.
Every
that's
wire, every module.
every wire that's not part of the engine management system has to be replaced.
Yeah.
I'll give you guys a lesson that we learned long time ago when my brother got his first car.
Okay.
My mom was presented with a 1970. Okay, keep in mind this is 1977.
That's fine. Yeah.
All right, so there was a mudslide that happened at in parts of Los Angeles. To Kel's surprise, there was a Ford dealership that took the brunt of the mudslide out in a place called Sunland. So my mom was presented with a 1976 Pinto for my brother,
Okay.
and we later found out she was like, "Oh, that looks interesting." It was a steal, pretty much. But then we found out we didn't buy it, but then we found out that there was mud damage inside the Pinto, in the engine bay, in the interior, underneath the carpets. She said no. And there was no way. She squashed that. So from that lesson, from that point, tells me flood damage, mud damage, salvage title, stay away.
That
Stay away.
is actually a mud damage, just something that we don't think of. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of a regional thing, but I mean, it's a big thing.
that's worse than a flood.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And even like, I'm not to the same extent, but like sandstorms and stuff like that. I mean, that gets in parts of the car and like sandblasts the corrosion protection away and does massive damage to wire jacketing.
Very true.
So, I mean, yeah, I get you. I mean,
I think cars that are super collectible, like super collectible.
I think it's the super collectible stuff, and I think it's the people that are willing to read into how it happened.
Yeah, and again, at that point, you have to be a car enthusiast because if you touch a
Right.
dealership, you're gonna be screwed.
Yeah. I don't think a lot of like washing machine grade widget cars get salvage titles and don't end up in a scrapyard.
Well, I'm more curious about cars that are end up being salvaged before they hit collectability.
Yeah.
So,
That's huge.
so something like a Supra.
I'll tell you, Lamborghini Murcielago.
Yes.
I have experience with this one because I've done a lot of research the last couple of weeks for other reasons. A clean-ish, we'll say a clean 15,000 mile, 6-speed manual, first year Murcielago is worth about $210,000 to $230,000. If you get one that has a clean title and a documented crash on record but no title mark, it's worth about $40,000 less. And if you get one that's a prior salvage, it's worth $100,000 to $110,000 less.
This is exactly what I'm talking about.
And as
with
that car
collectibility.
appreciates, I think that Gulf that those price values sit at will stay the same. So they will appreciate all of them, but that there's always going to be that $110,000 price discrepancy. So in that case, if you found one of those things and you could see how the damage was repaired or whatever on the collision, then that makes more sense because then you could pass the loss on to your next owner and still make a profit on a salvage title vehicle while enjoying it. But a caveat would be if you have a car that's made of exotic materials like carbon fiber, aluminum, and if there's any sort of panel bonding, just walk away.
Yeah.
Because,
So-
I mean, the
something like-
Murcielago is all steel, so it's all pretty nice.
Yeah.
That's easy to fix. A body shop knows how to work that kind of stuff.
Something like a Countach where everything is the entire monocoque with the exception of the doors, hood, and trunk are all one piece.
Yep.
All the fenders are welded together. The whole roof line's welded together. And they're all handmade.
Yep.
So no two will fit together. If you like back into a Countach and you like crinkle a fender, you're fucked for $50,000 because you're gonna have to. Yeah, it's like gonna be like rebuilding a building.
It's like backing into a concrete pillar with a Lotus Elise.
Basically,
Because
yeah.
the clamshell is destroyed and that thing's $50,000 to replace.
That's exactly that.
So, salvage title at least, on the other hand, if you can confirm that it was a clamshell issue, you buy one of those. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm more. The thing I'm kind of wondering about is there are a lot of cars that, like, they're on the verge of collectability.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are picking them up.
Sure.
With salvage titles. So
Yeah.
Supras, NSXs, RX-7s, 3000 GTs, which there was this 3000 GT automatic SL that sold
What?
for 5 digits on BAT. It had low mileage, like super low mileage. But
An
that's
automatic SL.
I think like that's somebody that what I think that is. I think that's just like a rich idiot that doesn't know like the difference between an SL and a VR4. Because that's not the difference. That's not the difference between a non-turbo and a turbo Supra. Both of those are very good cars. The turbo Supra is just much better. That 3000 GT SL is front-wheel drive, and it's automatic, and it's front engined, and it's non-turbo, and it doesn't have the active aero. It doesn't have the active suspension. It doesn't have any of the active cool shit that you actually buy the 3000 GT for.
Oh, well, we didn't get any of that shit in the U.S. market car.
Yes, we did.
All of it. Almost
That
none
was
of
an
it.
No, we actually got all of
We
that
got none
stuff.
of the active aero.
Yes, we did.
We certainly did.
Really? I
Yes,
thought that was
it-
GTO only.
Nope, that was
There was
American
something
one.
that got left off. What was it?
It would be the non-active wing on the later
That's what I
model.
mean, the active
Yeah.
wing.
Thank you.
The,
Yeah.
No, the non-active. They had a fixed wing on the last 2 years of the GTO that
Okay.
we did not get.
And that's desirable somehow, or no?
No.
Oh.
It looks cooler.
Okay. So that must be what I'm thinking of then.
Yeah, but it's.
'Cause I know there
it's
was
not-
something that the
it's
GTO
not-
had that our 3000 GT VR4 never did.
Yeah, no, ours was actually way better in every way. Jan's computer's completely frozen.
Wow, I'm surprised. That thing is usually super skookum. Anyway, you guys say no, I say yes. Moving on.
Anyway, speaking of collectability, we had like a rash of Audi TTs at work today.
Okay.
Or not today, but
I was gonna say it's a Saturday morning, so.
This week we're
There you
open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5:30. We're located on 6th Street in Lowry in Northeast Minneapolis. And if you have your car serviced, be sure to go to our coffee shop and tell them that your car is being serviced for a free cup of coffee. Anyway,
And the shop name is Good Karma.
yes, I should probably plug.
Probably
The
should put the name in there.
Shout out to Bill Japp. He's an awesome
name.
dude.
He is pretty cool. I love Bill. He's the best boss ever.
I've never been there. I know nobody there, but I recommend that shop.
Your brother went there.
I have never been there. I don't know anyone there except for you, and I still recommend that shop all the time.
There you go.
Heck
Perfect.
yeah.
So yeah, the TT. I was kind of looking at them.
A first gen?
The first and second gen doesn't really matter.
Oh,
but
man,
I mean,
okay.
if you look at them, like, I'm wondering if they're ever going to be like really collectible. Because if you look at the pros
The answer
of
is
them,
no.
if you look at the pros of them for Audi collectability,
Okay.
it is manual,
Yep.
all-wheel drive,
Uh-huh.
turbo, convertible optionally. It has a racing pedigree. It's got a common platform to other cars with a 1.8 liter turbo. Now, I do know the cons are way too many. It's a hairdresser car, and they've got ridiculous electric problems. But, I mean,
And it's a Haldex AWD and all that kind of
I,
crap.
I'm wondering if that's ever going to be kind of collectible.
I don't think so.
I'm going to have to add that, say no, because
No?
the fact is that the
They made
reputation.
way too many, too.
Well,
That's number one. Oh, that's the big one. Is their production numbers were so big because
So
they
is the
thought
Miata.
this was going to be. Yeah, that's true.
Not really
but-
collectibles, though. Just really good cars.
no,
Right. I mean, they're good, decent
the
vehicles.
Miata, I just got the blue screen of death.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
I would clap.
we're done.
No, so the the Miata they made a trillion of them, and
I think like a really clean, low-mile, hard-top 225 someday. Manual, sure, maybe. It'll appreciate, but it's not going to be a collector car.
and then cars that are unreliable but collectible. Any Lamborghini,
Yeah, well, actually, Lamborghinis seem like they're
they
fairly
suck.
reliable.
No, they suck. They didn't have wiring harnesses until the late 1980s.
Yeah, I know, but like the engines themselves and
They
the
had-
mechanicals, like
Well,
that
yeah,
stuff's
but I'm
pretty
talking about
good.
electrical problems.
Yeah,
I'm
but like
talking
you could
about-
still make that car run.
Yeah, after you do $15,000 rewiring the entire interior of
just
the
put a
car.
couple switches in there.
So let me ask you this. Now this is a sideball.
That's fine. We do that a lot.
Yeah, we do. Z3, the original.
Oh yeah,
BMW
totally,
Roadster.
totally,
Definitely.
totally.
So that's a collectible. So you see,
100%.
there's
Those are already on their way up.
Yeah,
Right.
but that's the thing is like they're these cars they can overcome their stigma.
But that's the thing is that okay, they can the Z3's overcoming his stigma. We know a couple people that have them.
I had one. I
Yeah,
loved it.
you had one. They're great cars.
I found one in St. Cloud that's orange for $3,500. It's really
Buy
hard
it.
to not buy that.
Buy it.
First gen Boxster, which we know had some problems.
Good car.
I
still.
hate that car, but I still admit that car will be worth quite a bit of money.
So
They're
down-
worth nothing right now.
Right.
So like you could pick up a pretty nice Boxster for $4,000.
Any car that's worth less than it performs
Okay.
will be
For-
collectible.
Yes.
First gen SLK, and I'll tell you that-
Another
Interesting.
hairdresser car. Yeah, that's where. That's what. This was my train of thought. is
I think a manual SLK.
I thought of
maybe.
those 3 cars
Yeah.
appreciating, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the Audi TT is going to be on that list because that car totally falls in there.
It will appreciate, like a nice one with the right spec will appreciate. I
Exactly.
don't think that necessarily means it's going to become a collector car.
I mean, that's what also people also said that about the 944s.
Yeah, again, those are appreciating. They're not collector cars.
They're the 944 turbos.
Maybe an
those are
S2 or
collectors.
like a late turbo
yeah,
is going to end up in a collection. The rest of them are just being kept nice to do fun things with.
Well,
but they're appreciating.
I mean, there's some that are kind of collectible. I don't know. I think as much as I hate the TT, and this is the thing, is I really hate the TT.
Well, it sounds
and-
like you love it, Ryan.
And well, no, it makes it.
Yeah,
Re-
you do.
it makes it really hard for me to be objective about it, or I guess subjective, whichever one I need. For me to be, not have my emotions into this about how I feel about
I
the
think
car.
objective.
Objective, I
Yeah,
think
I
that's the
think
word I'm
that's
looking for. Yeah, to be objective about the car, it's really, really hard for me to do that, and so that's
hard for
why
you to do
that's
that
why I
on
was-
everything. It's fine.
Yeah, and that's why I was wondering. But yeah, Randy, like you said, there are all those other quote unquote hairdresser cars, Miata included,
Yeah.
that they're greatly appreciating, and they're approaching hide it away in a vault level.
Right.
Yeah, for a nice one, yeah.
Yeah,
For a nice one, and also, like I said, specifications. So now we have to make the distinction. Okay, is an S more desirable
Yes.
than? Of course. Is an RS more desirable? Of course.
What I want to point out is there is a point at which most collector vehicles go from mileage and specification appreciation to condition
Yes.
appreciation.
Correct.
I don't think TTs will ever get to condition appreciation.
And that's exactly where I'm.
I think
leading
it's all
to.
going to go down to the specification of the car because they
Yeah.
did make so many of them.
that is true. I think condition.
And I think the BMW 8 Series is in that thing too because they made so many fucking automatics that the cars that are actually appreciating, they're the 6-speed ones, obviously, but,
yeah, but
they're
that's the
being
thing,
weighted
there's
down by the
so-
autos
There's
because
so many shitty 8 Series in the world.
there are, but there are also so many mint automatics, and the people shopping for a 6-speed are going to look at the car that's in the exact same condition with the exact same miles, and they're just going to buy the auto one, even though
That's-
it's a way worse car.
Well,
So that car
I
is
guess
kind of on the other end of the
another
equation.
example of that is, I could see that happening with the 8 Series that goes to condition because of electrical
Yeah.
problems.
They have none.
Yeah, but doesn't it have that early CAN-bus system?
Yeah, but it doesn't fail. The only issue they have are the throttle actuators every like 10 years.
I think cars that have issues with electrical problems, I think condition over
Phaetons is what you're
yeah
thinking of.
specifications can be important, but I think condition will be the make it or break it of it.
I think so too.
And
but
I think that with a TT, electrical problems are going to be if it breaks or not.
biodegradable engine harnesses sound like a good idea to me.
And that's exactly what I mean. No, it's like
Thank you, Mercedes and Audi of the 1990s.
it's exactly that. Like
It is. The jacketing on the wire is literally
Well, 'cause
designed to biodegrade.
the R129 condition is more important than specification.
Yeah, it is.
I found that out when we were selling Bill's R129. Is people were asking about the wiring harness. What the hell are they asking? And wiring harness is biodegradable.
It's worth mentioning, like 93 to 2001 Mercedes chassis harnesses, you just don't want any part of that.
Yeah.
The jacketing
Exactly.
literally will fall off the wires, and
That's
all
my
the systems
my
will turn on
cutoff
at
for
once.
wanting Mercedes is 1993. Like anything older than
And
93.
they have not lead, fuck, but they're not water-based paints in 93 and prior, and they are 94 and up.
Yeah. So
And they took Mercedes a lot longer than most companies to figure out water-based paint.
yeah,
As you look at a 94 W124 versus a 93,
that's true.
same mileage. Which one is in a junkyard turned into a washing machine already because of
Have you
rust?
The letter first or letter second or number
Exactly.
first.
Yeah, when they
SLs.
went from 400E to E420, you want a 400E.
Yeah, that's what I've always said. The number first Mercedes is the one to go with.
Except for our SL, that thing's been pretty good.
Yeah, trust me, you're an outlier. I've seen a lot of particularly shitty SL 500s.
But ours is a 600 with the Bi-Xenon second facelift, so it's worth doing everything too. But it hasn't had any issues. The harness is still fine. I check it every year.
Sorry, folks. I'm going to stop with the SLs at the Pagodas because every time I look at the post-Pagoda SL, I'm going...
The R129?
Yeah.
Or sorry, the R107. Yeah.
No, look at it with the
which
Euro
are
front
five,
end.
which they're
Can you pull up
all-
a picture of the Euro front end R107?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the European front end changes how your outlook on that car.
It
I
does.
know what you
I'm
mean.
aware of
The
that. It's just
Pagoda
that I've
is
seen
still a way
billion
more
of them.
attractive car, but
I mean, that get that one that's second row, second from the right.
nah, I like this one.
See,
That's a
but-
good front end.
but
Oh,
what-
it's a fucking YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know why you're doing
No,
that.
actually, it's fine.
man,
It's a
that
slow
look-
walk around. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Euro.
That
Yeah.
looks really good.
It looks really good. I'm not talking about looks. I'm talking about
I think dollar for dollar.
over my lifetime, I have seen tens, hundreds of thousands of these cars. They're like Chevrolets back in Beverly Hills.
No, they are. You're right. I mean, that was the car everybody had. Like that was
Right,
the
exactly.
go-to Playboy car. But I think that's the thing is, I really like the Pagoda too. I agree that the Pagoda is a better car.
Much better.
Is the Pagoda $50,000 better? No,
Not
at
yet.
all. No, not at all.
Not yet.
I will take an SL.
Depends on the Pagoda and it depends on the R107.
I will take a 560 SL any day over any Pagoda
Oh, I would not.
because of price.
It's worth it, man. The Pagoda is so much more handsome.
Now, as I say, if you're asking me about the 190 SL from the 50s,
yeah.
that one I will take over the Pagoda.
Okay. So the 190 was the convertible, mainly. They
The
did
four-cylinder,
Yes.
yeah,
mainly.
which is
the
is
least
fine. Good
desirable
powertrain
one.
still.
The least desirable one.
Like
yeah.
that and the Pagoda are kind of on the same level for me. I really like them both, but like I don't know which one I'd choose. But like
Yeah.
the Gullwing 300, no question. Yeah, of course.
Anyway,
I like the 107. The 129 is
Can
my
you
favorite.
pop up the notes again? The computer's just
Oh.
totally bricked.
Yep. Hold on.
Thank
Let me
you.
turn off the screen broadcast before I do that.
And while
Just to
we're
not.
at it,
There we go.
there was one thing I wanted to bring up before we get into the next step,
Sure.
real quick. The reason why I'm here,
Yeah.
I want to talk Audi E-Tron.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I like
Let's
electric
do
stuff.
Yes, well, and I know we're going to be talking something else electric in a little bit, but I just want to jump in because we're riding off an Audi topic, so let's go to another Audi.
Yes.
Okay, so
But a
I was in
better
I was
Audi
in
topic.
San Francisco this Monday, and I want to thank the Washington Automotive Press Association. All those people over there got me in there with Audi. So we went to San Francisco and eventually to the old Ford plant in Richmond for the unveiling of the E-Tron. Now this
Is it just a model called the E-Tron straight up?
that's what it's going to be called.
Is
But-
it's right now it's a sub model, right, for like the A3 and the R8. And,
It's its own car.
well, now it is.
Well, now it is, but the thing was is that when they were using the name, they were talking about a plug-in hybrid. This is a full EV.
Okay, nice.
So this is a two-row crossover SUV, one vehicles we really love here.
Yay, CUVs! I'm so
yay.
happy.
I know, but
Why are you
that's
telling us about this?
well because
What am I
would-
gaining?
You're not
Electric stuff, hopefully.
Electric stuff. I'll get to that. So it doesn't look like it's weird. It's designed and with current Audi DNA, so it looks like the rest of the lineup. Size-wise, it fits between the Q5 and the Q7. It has a two-motor system, which means it is essentially a quattro. So two motors are driving.
Also
each-
known as all-wheel drive.
So it's completely electronic.
Exactly. So it's a full battery electric. Now, it's a flat battery pack, just like a Tesla. There's 36 cells in there.
Okay.
So as I mentioned, I said, sounds familiar? Yes, it's a Tesla. Not a lot of EVs are being designed as such because they usually put the battery pack in the back, and it's usually a clumpy little thing. So they decided to do like take a page out of the
So-
playbook and just put the battery pack between the two motors.
So is this a new platform for them then? So they
yes,
can do that? Okay.
absolutely.
I don't know. I feel like if you're making a new platform, why are you making it look like a Q5?
Agreed.
All right.
Now here's the one here's one takeaway, or actually non-takeaway that didn't happen when we were there. They never mentioned what the range was going to be, and they never gave us any MPGE ratings at the unveiling. They
okay.
caveat.
Well,
and
it's because they're probably lie about
Says
it. and make it up
95
as they go.
kilowatt hours.
Exactly.
And 248.
That's just how. That's how.
that's just guesstimate.
Yeah.
They
Well,
never said
all EV
anything.
ranges are glorified guesstimates.
Precisely.
Anyone that says over 200 miles on any Tesla is just fucking high. Just smoking the reefer.
Can I just say this? Anyone who buys a Tesla must be high.
I would
they're
buy a
made when you're
Tesla.
high.
Exactly. Well, of course.
As we learned on the podcast of Elon Musk.
Yep. So now the last point I'm going to make is, okay, you could do a fast charging on this one.
I was going to say, it's got that new industry standard connector, right? So it's like the J1772. I forget what they call it, CCS.
Yes.
So it supports the full. Okay, so bear with me. The that connector infrastructure supports up to 150 kilowatts of DC-QC, right?
That's correct.
And it takes advantage of the maximum.
So therefore, 80% charge in 30 minutes, and then they do have level 1 and 2 available.
Can you imagine level 1ing one of those things?
No, don't.
I want to try it. If you ever get a really high kilowatt hour EV, I want you to please bring it to my house, and we'll plug it in and level 1 it and see how long it takes to go from 0% to full.
It will take forever.
I know. It would take like 3 days probably.
So that's why I went there. I'll be honest. I mean, it was, everybody was like tithering. I mean, there were 2,000 of us. Mm-hmm. Not everyone was media, but they brought media from all over the world. So there was a few of us from the United States that were there, especially those I know.
Sure.
A lot of dealers were there. A lot of the brass from Ingolstadt and Herndon were there. So I felt it was one of those trips where if you're on the C&D list, you're going.
Cease and desist list?
No.
Well, car and driver.
Oh.
Well, that too. I think someone was there from C&D, but I don't care. But we're talking about A-list, B-list, C-list.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, so because the A-listers were in Santa Barbara driving the new Lincoln Nautilus.
That looks like a Tiguan.
It does.
Well, like I said,
Joe.
if you're gonna make a new car, why would you make it look like a Q5?
Nah, it doesn't look like a Q5. It looks like a Tiguan.
Yeah, but it's the same thing. They're
kind of. The Tiguan looks way worse.
Okay, here the same thing was said about the EQC, which is Mercedes-Benz's.
Yeah, that looks like a GLE.
It sounds like a GLE, GLC. I don't know. Maybe because of the fact that they don't want to go as buck wild like on the Model X Tesla.
And I appreciate the fact that they're probably trying to poach current internal combustion engine vehicle drivers by doing that, right?
Yeah,
they're trying to ease the transition.
This is supposed to be like a new platform, though.
It's an absolutely new platform.
Do you remember when BMW made a new platform for the BMW 7 Series in the early 90s and it looked just like the one from the 80s and nobody cared?
No.
About the car? Exactly. Nobody remembers that.
Because it was a variation of the same chassis. E32 to E38.
It was still a different chassis code.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
The parts are not interchangeable.
A lot of them are.
The body panels. I mean.
Oh, yeah, God, no.
That's what I
nothing
mean.
above the hard points.
The body is not interchangeable.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about. I feel like that's the mistake Audi's making. And then
they do that on every model. It's all evolution, nothing revolution.
Correct.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Well, I mean,
I get why they do that, doing the slowing
the B6 to
B6
to B7, they had a big change in the rear.
Yeah,
I get what you mean though. Or no, I guess B4 to B5 was huge.
That's a paradigm shift. B5 to B6, you could see a lot of the design language, but beyond that, I mean, until you got to the B8, I really, B6, B7, I thought were pretty similar.
Yeah.
How are you doing on time?
I want to get to my last topic.
Okay, that's fine. I'll fill it.
I have to go to a wedding this afternoon.
I'll stay on E-Tron with Randy, and for my final topic, once you're gone, Bale. Let's do yours.
We'll do it. I'm gonna head out a little bit early. It's Andrew Chase's wedding. If you happen to be listening to this for whatever reason while you're at work, and Andrew, get back to work.
Congrats.
You were supposed to talk to people.
I like their cats a lot.
They have fantastic cats.
Clarissa's pretty cool too.
Clarissa's pretty cool. I like the cars.
And congratulations
cool
to Andrew
people.
for their marriage.
And congratulations on your car not being slow anymore, Andrew.
Oh.
His car, to be fair, his car was super slow in high school, but since has not been.
I did not say that with any irony. Yeah, I like his car.
His car is just ridiculous fast. I think it might be close to the record for stock head bolt power.
It's really fast
on a GSR.
Yeah,
it's a really quick car.
I was up at PG1 watching that thing run, and it was like, damn.
Yeah, he boogies.
Yes, he does. Anyway, yeah, let's move on to your.
But anyway, I want to talk about. So we were talking about E-Tron and Audi's platform here. Can we bring up the Peugeot concept for their electric car? Because that is way cooler.
Well, it's way nicer looking.
I agree.
But this is the thing: is I pulled up this particular one, the Auto Express, that UK one.
Yeah.
Because this is the one that actually go into it. Apparently, the autonomous mode is not full time. It's optionally autonomous.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh my
Oh,
god.
like-
what the hell happened to the inside, though?
Yeah, I know,
who
right? Well, it's a
cares?
concept car.
Yeah. I do like. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that is
just like
that's
the
everything
old
that
504.
That is
Yeah.
not possible to make that with current safety regulations. Look at the size of the A pillar and the C
yeah,
pillar.
I know. But the
Look at the Fiata influence right
yeah,
here, man.
Or I just think the Nissan IDX
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that too.
reminds me of the IDX. That car looks really good. But anyway, it's got 400 horsepower. It's all-wheel drive, electric, full-time. This is what an electric car should look like.
You know what? And that's exactly.
That
I'm
interior
on
is
board with
fabulous.
I'm on board with
this
that.
This is exactly what. If
It's
they,
a 1970s fiberglass van chair wrapped with like modern eco textiles.
Exactly. It's really cool. I love that. This car, top to bottom, is just perfect.
Oh my word.
It's got wireless charging, like a
they
big
went with
phone.
the old badge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the old
Yo!
badge.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like a wireless phone. It's got a little wireless phone charger thing for it.
Weird.
It does have autonomous mode, but it doesn't force it upon you. My one caveat here is, if this goes into production, this will be very cool, but I have a rule of thumb with a car.
Which is
If it will let me kill myself in it, it is cool.
okay.
If I can turn off every single safety assist
Yep.
and drive it off a fucking bridge,
Yep.
I want to be able to do that.
Yep.
Because otherwise it's to get in the way when you're trying to have fun. Like because the whole point of having fun in a car is, driving it
Being
on
stupid.
the edge. And when you're if you're racing it, you're driving on the edge.
Or beyond, actually.
Yeah, like you're driving past the factory limits of that car. I feel like if that car is gonna like put itself into limp dick mode and autonomous drive myself home and make me think about my actions, I don't want that. But if I can turn off everything, I can just have a 400 horsepower all-wheel drive electric 1970s looking coupe. That sounds like the most perfect thing I've ever heard of in my life.
Called the E-Legend.
Yes, apparently.
It has a 49-inch display.
Yeah, the entire dashboard.
I don't like that.
It's a little ridiculous.
I do like the 100 kilowatt quoted battery pack, though.
Yeah, that sounds really cool. At 137 mile an hour top speed and a 4-second 0 to 60.
Yeah.
That sounds very cool. And I think that this is, if autonomous driving in cars becomes a thing, this is the way it should be. This is the...
But I agree with fully defeatable stability control and safety systems, which is why like drive-by-wire, steer-by-wire, autonomous stuff, that's all getting in the way of our direct connection to the car.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, this will not be as good if I don't have a feel to it.
Right.
Because if you ever... Randy, I guess you've never driven a car with a cable clutch, but when you drive it, I prefer a cable clutch over a hydraulic clutch.
I was just about to ask how you knew that, and then I remember.
But I prefer a cable clutch over a hydraulic clutch because you feel the exact moment when the clutch engages.
Mm-hmm.
And I prefer a throttle cable over drive-by-wire because you'll feel the kinks in the throttle. You'll feel the braid of the throttle cable go around the little wheel.
You'll be there when
Yeah.
it snaps on the side of the road.
Exactly. I like those things. That
I like them, but I also understand and extol the virtues of drive-by-wire throttle and hydraulic clutches.
it does make things better. But I mean, that's the thing is,
And that's the thing. EVs are making things better, but it would be really nice to have the option to have things worse to make them better.
I want to feel like if I have a bad tire on my car, I want to feel it click.
Yep.
Yeah, like
Yep.
that's important. That's how you don't die in a car
Exactly.
accident.
Yeah. Because I don't inspect my cars if I don't feel anything's wrong.
Yeah, exactly. I don't give a shit. Like,
This seems fine.
steering wheel. This is weird, but I guess this is okay.
It's not like a 45-degree angle, and I've bought a lot of tires this year, but it seems okay.
I've been needing new tires since I had that giant 6-inch deep hole in the earth in South Minneapolis.
Oh, bummer. I need a new wheel for the 500E because
Yeah.
it's bent now. From
Oh,
the
I need
pothole.
a new wheel too, but that's the least of my issues. I just
gotcha.
put new wheels on anyway.
Fair enough.
Anyway, Randy, I'm gonna let you and Burger close it out. I gotta go.
Okay.
I gotta go to a wedding.
Have
So-
fun. Please
Yep.
give them my best if you see them,
Yep.
which
Oh,
you
I will
probably
do.
will. All right, so Randy, back to the E-Tron.
Oh yeah.
All right, so let's talk. Let me get back to that thing here.
Should I jump on the other seat here?
You're fine there. Yeah.
Okay.
The microphones are all the same.
of
You're
course
not. You're
they
not
are.
getting worse treatment being in seat number 3.
or at least I think I'm
Well,
not.
we're not worse equipment treatment. I mean, I might treat you worse, I guess, but not deliberately.
No.
I don't think seat will matter. For that. I
Okay,
think it's
all
just
right,
Burger
we get it, we get
treating
it.
you like
Yeah.
garbage.
Yeah,
That's cool.
that's
Okay,
basically what I was alluding to. Anyway,
right.
you probably want your phone, Ryan,
Ryan, don't forget your phone.
seeing as the GPS is open on it.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so E-Tron, it's got the CCS. What do they say? 95 kilowatt. Do you know what the starting price they're aiming for is on it?
Yes, the starting price would be around 74 grand. However, the first edition is going to run at 87.
So that's pretty typical. I'm assuming the first edition is going to be all-wheel drive. It's going to have the bigger battery.
No, they're all going to be all-wheel drive.
So they all have the
They're all
big
going to
battery.
be because, well, the thing is that you have two motors and they're
Yeah.
all attached to each axle, so they're standard quattro.
Right, but what are they going to strip out of the initial edition to make it cheaper?
Just a few features,
Oh, so it's
perhaps.
convenience and luxury stuff?
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much.
All right, so they're not really going to mess with the powertrain.
Exactly. So there's no difference in powertrain between the lower model and the first edition.
Well, that's kind of nice.
Yeah, exactly.
I like that. I mean, the whole reason I haven't ended up with a Model 3 is mainly because they don't sell the one that I want to buy yet,
Yes.
which is the cheapo with the rear-wheel drive and the tiny battery.
Oh, you're not going to get any of those because
Not with the tax credit gone.
well,
yeah.
that's number one. Number two is production. So, because the
Right.
fact that they decided, oh, we're going to make a lot of money if we get like the higher spec models.
Right.
But nobody wants the cheapo, really.
Well, that's the thing, because the profit margin's much lower on that car, which is what I
Exactly.
want. But at the same time, I look at, let's say a 2014 Model S 85. Those are 30 grand now to buy used.
Yes.
So, $5 grand less than the lowest cost production we got from Tesla on their new Model 3 cheapo. And the Model S, granted, it's going to have 70 to 110,000 miles on it, but you get lifetime supercharging with it. You get a much more powerful motor.
Aren't you supposed to pay for that now?
You do on everything sold Model 3 and newer.
Okay.
Everything after that came with free lifetime supercharging. So every Model S and X, I believe, you can go to any supercharger and charge for
Okay.
free, which is kind of cool. But at the same time, the Model S and X are huge physically vehicles.
Okay, now here's the difference between the two models. So
Okay.
of the three models, there's three trims. So first
For the
edition is
E-Tron.
yeah.
Okay.
So first edition is 86.7, and they're adding on to Prestige and Premium Plus. Premium Plus being the lowest model possible. That's 74.8.
Okay.
So they have an upgrade in wheels. They have special paint, special exterior trim, and special calipers and all this stuff.
Okay.
And night vision assistant, which is another technology they're throwing in there.
Sure.
In the meantime, if you just wait and get a Premium Plus, I mean, you do get 20-inch wheels. You do get a B&O sound with 16 speakers.
Hell yeah.
I mean, you get your MMI, you get your Matrix design headlamps, you get phone box and smartphone interface with. I mean, you have it's
That's
well
a lot of
equipped.
tech, yeah.
That's a lot of tech for an Audi.
Yeah, I mean, that's all their high-selling stuff. I mean, the B&O sound system is something almost everyone selects when it's on the
course.
page. MMI, it's just kind of one of the things that people do. I mean, Audi integrates it no matter what. So, I
Right.
mean, you may as well get the one that's actually got functionality to it.
So, but the most part, but here's the thing that's going to really be the tipping point is that the first models show up at Audi showrooms in the second quarter of next year, and this is a 50-state car.
Right.
So it's not
okay.
like. I mean, Jaguar I-Pace is a 50 states car. They're
Yep.
sold locally here.
My coworker, I found an allocation for him locally, and he didn't jump on it in time.
I'll tell you what, that's a very interesting car, the I-Pace.
I like that thing.
Oh yeah, because and the thing is, they're trying to sell it as a crossover. I don't see it as a crossover.
What do you see it as?
I see it as more of like a sort of a semi-lifted four-door hatch.
So it's
that's
like
really
a
highly
lifted Panamera or something.
pretty much.
Okay.
But not even that big. It's
Okay,
a
so
real,
like a
it's
lifted Ghibli.
Yeah, it's even just about the same size as a Ghibli. It's probably about the same size as a BMW 6 Grand Touring.
Sure. Okay.
So, I mean, but
That's the thing. I'm not offended by the I-Pace, and I hate CUVs.
right.
Because, I mean, when I was at Laguna Seca, I mean, there were two of those driving around before Popes took them out and did the hot lap or whatever. And it's an attractive vehicle.
It's a very attractive vehicle. It's actually quite comfortable. But that tall roof line, if you're going to have people in the back seat, I don't think so. As long as you're shorter than me, you're
Yeah.
good.
Well, I suppose that's not something I usually think about because I buy a lot of two-seat vehicles. But
Of course.
people buying a four-door vehicle, that's probably a concern. So it's good to think about.
Exactly. And hatch space on the I-Pace is pretty good, but then again, Audi's going back and say, look, we've got all this space behind the rear seat. Wow, okay, that's great. It's great for
So, I mean,
families.
that's pretty much the same sort of ballpark prospect as this E-Tron then. So, I mean,
Correct.
you're talking like 72.5 base currently for an I-Pace.
Right.
That's no options.
Right.
I think that's before the tax credit, though.
Yes, but I don't even know what the pricing is for Model X, which is going to be the target for
A
the
lot
E-Tron.
more, I think, than both of these.
Yeah, so it tells me really when you think about the whole thing about going after Tesla,
Yeah.
which is the
It-
big
it
driver
will
of
work.
all these
I mean,
companies.
Yeah, I bet we see Model X sales now moving forward, especially October when we start getting volume units of the I-Pace. I don't know when the E-Tron's coming to us.
Second quarter 2019.
Okay, so I think the I-Pace is going to start eating Model X sales now,
Yep.
and I think Audi's going to do a lot of it then. I don't know when that Mercedes
EQC, I
EQC,
haven't
whatever the
looked it
hell.
up.
Again, it's probably pretty similar in specification and
Pretty much.
price to these two. And I like the fact that there are more long-range EVs coming to market. These aren't necessarily
Exactly.
cars I would buy, but honestly, what I was thinking of the other day is the main reason I bought the Fajita, the FJ, is because I needed a certain set of features fulfilled. I needed certain usage cases fulfilled, which involved needing ground clearance and all-wheel drive for a couple days a year. But I also don't drive automatic. But electric cars don't have transmission, so I'm okay with them. So if I was
Pretty
going to
much.
buy a new SUV, honestly, I think it would have to be electric. So these actually might be interesting things I should be paying attention to more than I am.
I would say so, but yeah, I think in the specification deal is when I tell people, look, if you're looking for an SUV and it's electric, take a look at what's the power, how the power system's taken care of.
Yeah.
If you already got the electric architecture to charge up, and you'd be able to have quick charge.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because when you have one of these things, anything over 30 kilowatt hours,
Yeah.
you need level 2. You need double level 2 in a lot of cases for a lot of those.
Exactly.
I mean, if you've got a potent 40 amp level 2 at your house, you're okay.
Good.
Because, I mean, that can reasonably compensate for a shit ton of daily driving.
Now, here's my pushback on EVs, and I know you're an EV owner, and
Yeah, but I also own a lot of V12s.
yes, you do. Yes, you do. But
I own way more things that get fewer than 12 miles to the gallon than I do EVs.
again, this is because of the fact that most of our listeners are in Twin Cities.
Yeah.
Even though every time I try to come in, it's like I bring in America, cross country in Canada.
Which is fine. I mean, we
Yeah.
have listeners in other countries now, too.
Good.
But
Hello, international listeners.
yeah, I'm too lazy to bring up the thingy, but we do have a couple international listeners now.
Right. So the problem is with the Twin Cities, it's the charging. It's the charging infrastructure, especially public charging infrastructure.
Okay.
Thankfully, the city of St. Paul was the first, adopter, because they were doing a lot of charging stations publicly tied into ChargePoint throughout
Yeah, their
downtown.
backbone. Mm-hmm.
That's their backbone throughout
Yep.
downtown St. Paul. And then they were also talking about, if they haven't done so already, they were talking about charging points at Como Park. They were talking
Conservatory.
and the conservatory and some other things. So
Yeah, I haven't been around to see if they've done that yet.
I don't think I've seen it yet, but
And
I need to.
that's going to be the charging infrastructure build out is going to be way more important if they continue selling low range EVs like mine,
yes,
where you would benefit from plugging in pretty much everywhere you stop.
exactly.
But if you're driving one of these 90 plus kilowatt hour behemoths around, you could easily do a full day's drive anywhere without
Right.
needing to top up. So I think for PHEVs and sub 30 kilowatt hour EVs, that charging network is really important, and we will continue to
Agreed.
see it roll out. But I think a lot of the focus we'll see is going to be on that CCS stuff at motorway, interstate type gas stations. I don't think we're going to see a ton more of the J1772 level 2 stuff around at like grocery stores. And I hope we do. I hope I'm wrong.
I'll tell you what, Hy-Vee just opened up in Robbinsdale, which is the
What's up, Hy-Vee? I
What's
love
up?
that. They always have level 2 chargers.
Yes, they do. And
Are the charge points still there, or are they moving
yes,
something
they're
else?
still charge points.
Okay.
Which I'm a member of. And
Me too. High five.
Yep. And but since Hy-Vee is open like about maybe a walk from the house.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So next time I have a
You'll be
plug-in,
using that for sure.
I'll be using that. I'll probably just leave the damn thing, go into a restaurant, grab some food.
A lot of the charge points at the Hy-Vees will limit you to, I think, 6 kilowatt hours, and then they'll either slow it or stop it. But, I mean, that makes sense. I mean, you're not going to be realistically shopping for more than an hour.
Unfortunately, though, when the last time I had a couple of plug-ins,
Yeah.
I mean, I had the Chrysler Pacifica,
Pacifica?
and then before that, the Prius Prime.
Sure.
Is okay. I noticed that I was on the about maybe 2/3 of the way.
Yeah.
When I was done, and I was there, and I tried to extend my time. All right, I was like,
Yeah.
trying to kill the time. So an hour later, you want to get back in your car. It's like, oh, come on, I didn't get to my full charge. Well, sorry.
Well, I mean, it's limited to the weight. I mean, everything is factored in when they're engineering a car. I mean,
Yeah.
a higher kilowatt hour onboard charger weighs more. I mean, adding level
that's
3
right.
and stuff like that. So, in my car, it's a 6.67 kilowatt charge controller, and that's just because that's what they had room for.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the Outlander PHEV I worked with.
Aha.
Couple of them.
Oh, geez, more than one. Well, at least it's not the Eclipse Cross. See what I did
Don't get me started.
Okay, all right, fine.
I'm working on that right now. Unfortunately, I'm working on
Oh,
getting
man.
one.
I'm glad we got you on again before that happens, so we can have you do it and then forget about it before we talk to you again.
Well, I'll know more in about a couple weeks at least.
Okay.
So,
Well, we don't want to hear about the Eclipse Cross.
No, you won't. You'll probably see it on Facebook, but I won't.
That's fine. I can scroll past that and do the angry react. And razz you for it.
Yeah, well, that's the kind of guy
That's
I am.
just who I am.
It's just that
exactly.
but then again, on the flip side, everyone was snapping necks on that Lexus LC500H.
Yep. Well, it's a very attractive car.
Very attractive car, very complicated hybrid system, though.
Was that plug-inable or no?
No.
That is
But-
so dumb.
No, but the thing is that this is Toyota's parallel system. But what they decided to do is to extend the parallel to transmissions.
Okay.
So what they did is you still have the electric motor, you still have the 3.5 liter V6, which is combined horsepower 354.
Mm-hmm.
However, they decided to mash up the transmission, so that part of it's an ECVT and the part of it's a geared automatic transmission.
Okay.
So that's where the multi-stage comes into. I've been trying so hard to try to explain this to people. I even get confused myself because that is whatever they did works,
Right.
and that's the
Well, I
bottom
mean,
line.
Toyota's been ironing that in one form or another. Granted, the first-gen hybrid synergy drive system looks nothing like what's in the LC500.
Exactly.
Or H, that's worth saying in the back. But they figured it out. I mean, it's completely seamless. But the benefit you get from having the weight of that system, unless you live in a crowded downtown area with regulations that promote owning a hybrid, I just don't see who would buy that over the regular LC500.
And that's a very good point because this is the problem that I with Lexus is that, okay, you could sell an LC500 with the V8 and you're going to get those true Grand Touring customer.
Yep.
But then they'll look at that hybrid and they're going, well, 30 miles per gallon, I might just consider it.
Right, but
wait.
what if they had jammed the 2GR FSC into the LC and sold us an LC350? What would the highway fuel economy be?
23?
I bet it wouldn't be. I bet it would be 27 or 28. That's a
Possibly.
really aerodynamic car.
Possibly, but
The reason why they can get that highway fuel economy, because a hybrid doesn't help you on the highway at all.
no, it doesn't.
It's
no.
It's all down to the synergy drive and the transmission. So I'm just saying if they put a more efficient, you're good, a more efficiently geared transmission in there with, a V6 engine option, which I'm not suggesting they do necessarily.
No, because the rumor has it is there's going to be an LCF.
Okay.
The problem is, though, is that right now RCF GSF is about 467 horsepower in the V8,
And they're still using that same.
5 liter.
Yep.
So in order to do this, they have to shoot for the moon, 650 at the minimum. So that's the rumor. Now the question is, what kind of engine will that happen? Will
I
there
bet it's
be
going to
any
be
boosting?
a 4-point-something liter twin turbo V8.
Which, don't get me started on LS because I'm a little disappointed that they went twin turbo V6 versus a V8 on the standard model.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. Maybe it will be a boosted. Maybe it'll be a variant of that engine.
Yeah, but I'm looking at that engine bay and I'm going, where are you going to shove those turbos?
Oh, the LC engine bay is bigger than that.
No, it's not.
Well, not with the hybrid crap in there.
Well, okay.
The LC
when I looked at the V8,
Yeah.
they still shoved a lot.
That's
of shit.
true, actually. 'Cause
Lot
it's
of
got
plumbing.
Those, it's got those. I don't know if they're magnesium or aluminum, but the top of the front strut carriers, the strut
Yes,
mounts. I mean,
because
those
you've
things
seen what's underneath it.
they're big.
Yes, they are. They're huge.
But I mean, the thing's got gigantic diameter springs for the ride quality. So I mean, you lose a lot of the engine bay space just due to that.
Yeah, which I mean, everything is just enlarged in that car.
They'll
Those
find a way to package
brakes.
it. And I haven't looked into the new Toyota twin turbo V6 to know if it's a hot V or a cold V engine. So whether they put the turbos in the center, if they put them down below. Most modern engines that are V configuration and forced induction have a hot V, so they can put them right on top. And if you can do that, then the packaging is really efficient because you don't have to worry about the steering linkages. You don't really have to worry about any of those hard point interference issues.
When I eventually get an LS, the new
I'd like
LS,
to look at it.
Yes, it's already been spoken.
Okay. Cool. Alrighty. Well, I think we beat that one to death, but I still wanted to talk about it because I like EVs and new stuff. So.
Yes, you do. Actually, that's why I was brought it up to you and saying, hey, when I
Yeah.
was in San Francisco, I said, yeah, maybe Eric would be interested in this.
I am.
I don't know about this other guy.
Well,
hey,
he's not
Ryan.
here, so we can razz him all we
Yeah,
want.
that's right. Hey, Ryan. Anyway,
Wow, that was aggressive, Randy.
no, we love the guy to death. That's why I have to. You know, it's
Wow. I don't think I've ever given somebody one of those on the podcast, so you've definitely stepped it up a notch.
Thank you. I'll take full credit for that.
Sounds good. Well, Randy, thank you very much for coming down. Thank you for suggesting the appearance based on the E-Tron stuff, and
You're welcome.
and for being a good sport with us putting up with all that.
No, it's all good. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
Of course. We'll catch you guys next week.